I think there is this, feeling of just being stolen, a feeling of frustration. When I say stolen, it's because really rich people become richer, and there are so many abandoned children and so many poor people that somehow there is a real claim for social justice. It's a very serious thing. It's what Mikhail Khodorkovsky was claiming years ago already from prison, that there will be a turn to the left. And maybe Zyuganov will become again a real leader of the opposition, even though probably there is a very bad reputation.
I heard Zyuganov commenting the results of the vote, and he said they were satisfied. By the way, I've just talked with my director de recherche, director of studies.
The field research director.
Yes, he was foreign observer, and he was at the city of Penza. And, well, he mentioned, because he used to be from the OEC observer long before we met and became friends. And he was completely disappointed in the whole system of foreign observation, because he said foreign observers do not see much.
Well,
they do not see the counting of votes. So on those consistencies he was present. He said there were no observers of Yabloko, etc., but there were observers of communists everywhere, etc., of fair Russia too, and they were not protesting. Well, he saw what he saw because he can't be at all.
The people were selecting.
Their position now, the social justice that you absolutely justifully said, it's a general demand of the whole European civilization, because the liberal finances-oriented economy reached its especially in Russia, which is not a very rich country, etc. But people criticize Putin also, and that he didn't correct enough.
I think
the system founded by the liberals and Nemtsov.
I think they led Russians to a point of extreme cynicism about the way power works in Russia. And I think the tipping point, if you could trace it to something in the run-up to this election, was that announcement back in late September when Vladimir Putin and Dmitry Medvedev finally said that they were essentially going to swap jobs.
Yes.
And yes, people had been expecting this. Everyone was expecting, people joked about it, Putin will be in power forever. But this was the height of cynicism, in the sense that it showed that they really did believe that they could sit in a back room, make a deal, and that would actually be okay. I think Putin thought he was reassuring Russians after a week sort of Medvedev. They would feel good having Putin back in control.
Hang on a second, Douglas, because we know that Putin's tenure since 1999, we can call up the graph if you like, has mostly coincided with a huge rise in growth. Russia, on the whole, is faring a lot better than it was before Vladimir Putin came to power.
Putin's prosperity, a Faustian deal, you could say, and you can't deny it, obviously, and he's benefited from also high oil prices, and that graph does show. I think it's gone up right now. The GDP in Russia's gone up to just under $2 trillion.
By the way, the price of oil is not about to go down, is it?
No, not at all. But Putin has been very lucky, until the recent financial woes, has been very lucky that oil, the economy has been able to ride very high on oil. It's not a diversified economy. It depends on its energy resources much more than almost any other country. You have to go to Saudi Arabia to get to a greater extreme. And if that economy were to reach a tipping point and head south quickly, I think that would undermine a great foundation of Putin. And a lot of the reason he was able, able to project this image of the great good Samaritan, the benefactor, the strong person who's going to help all Russians to realize their dreams and nurture this middle class, which, yes, has grown undeniably.
Just because I just want to move on and just for 1 second on this point and rebound off of it, what is the next move for Vladimir Putin? He says, and he made the statement I think it was yesterday, saying he would clean house once he was returned to office as president. Let's take a listen.
In the next stage, following the parliamentary elections, there will be the formation of government. And of course, as we said repeatedly, there will be a serious and significant renewal of personnel in that government.
So what is Vladimir Putin's next move, Gali Ackerman? Is he going to crack down? Is he going to reform from within? What lessons is he going to draw from what's going on?
We don't know. I think he will try to crash all these opposition meetings and demonstrations. Whether he will succeed or not, I don't know, and nobody knows, because if there is force used too much, if there are people wounded or killed, that of course will very strongly undermine his future election.
Misha Most, what's your prediction on that?
Yes, just also one more thing I wanted to say about these parties. You showed Zyuganov saying something, right? But the thing is that all the other parties, they could write papers to the court, and they would annulate these elections, but nobody did it. So on the future of these movements, it's true that if somebody gets killed or something happens, because now there is army in the city. Yeah. There are army forces apart from the special police forces, and also there is a special squadron of police forces from Chechnya. These are some rough guys, about 600 people who came to Moscow and who would not hesitate to do anything like killing or, I don't know, shooting, whether it be rubber bullets or real bullets.
So you're expecting a crackdown? Just very briefly, because we're almost out of we're almost out of time. I want to give
Yes.
I just want to give Natalia Narochnaya one last chance here.
Well, I don't
is there going to be a crackdown? What is the next move?
Our debate, you are professionally turning it into Putin or not Putin, whether he's good or not. We are talking about situation in Russia, and Putin is certainly one of the most strong-willed and trusted person, despite all this rights.
So what will he do? How will he react?
I don't think, and I hope, that he won't crack down, but he probably will choose something else. And what he promised to change the team, that exactly what people wanted some years ago and were disappointed at all, because so many good words were said, which were received very well by the public, but no personnel change, etc.
This is cynical. I mean, he's been in power for many years, and he's saying now that he's going to change the team, whereas everybody knows that he has been managing the country for those last years.
Very naive
and unfortunately, we're out of time. We're going to have
America said it's too early to judge.
We're going to have to unfortunately leave it there. Natalia Narochnaya, I want to thank you. I want to thank Douglas Herbert, Galia Ackerman. I want to thank Vladimir Smeknov, and I want to thank Misha Most for joining us from Moscow, and you for being with us here in the France-24 debate. Stay with us. Coming up next, it's time for business. Marcus Carlson will have how the markets are reacting to the start of what looks like a tiff within the European Union over a plan to save the euro.
Every week,